Hey fellow babies, welcome back to the Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. It's the only place to go for news about E3. You're going to get overwhelmed if you're not on SIFTD. The subscription price is $4 a month. You got to do it for $4. Figure out what's going on during E3. Don't miss out. Sift all your content. Read what matters to you instead of having to go look for it all. And you get Pack Lovin' as part of that $4. So welcome back. We're going to do an E3 episode right now. We're going to do a prediction show. I don't have very long predictions, so this might be one of our shorter ones, but going to go through what I think relevant is going to either happen or not happen at E3. So 3 of my predictions are something that's going to happen. 2 of them are things that are not going to happen. So I'm likely to be right on at least a couple of them. First thing I think you should look for. I think we're going to get an Xbox One Scorpio priced at $399. Now that sounds cheap for what you get. I think Microsoft would be making a mistake to price it higher. If they go at $399, I actually think this will become a better selling SKU. We're seeing ridiculous pricing on 4K TVs, and the Xbox One Scorpio is going to run at 4K. I think people who are buying 4K TVs are looking for content. We finally gotten to that crossover point where 4K TVs are a way to future-proof against television broadcasts turning into 4K. Right now, unless you purchase a 4K Blu-ray player, you can't even watch movie content in 4K. No cable system broadcasts at 4K. Netflix has its originals broadcast in 4K and some third-party content, but very little, very few hours of real content. So games is a killer app for it. I think that, the Scorpio is going to be a 4K device. You're going to really need a 4K TV to take full advantage of the Scorpio. And I think that if Microsoft comes out at the $399 price point, it has a chance of remaining quite relevant this cycle. If they're above $399, I think they're going to have a problem. I think that company is composed of a bunch of smart people. I think they understand their customer. I don't think they're going to price themselves out of the market. So prediction number 1, Xbox One Scorpio at $399. I'm not going to make a prediction about what they're going to name it. I actually kind of like the name Scorpio, and I think they should keep it there. But it's entirely possible they'll pick something that's not a part of the Zodiac, and they'll end up coming up with some name like Xbox One Plus Plus, or Pro. They can't really use Pro because PlayStation's already used that one. $399. That's my prediction. Write it down. You heard it here. Probably second or third. Next prediction in the ongoing console wars, and remember that Microsoft at E3 goes first. They're on Sunday, so Sony has 30 hours to respond. They're going to regroup, and I think that their response to a $399 Xbox One Scorpio is a $249 PS4 Pro. It's possible they'll be a little higher, $299, but I think they can really go for the jugular if they drop PS4 Pro to $249, which obviously implies that the regular PlayStation 4 should be $199. They may do this as part of a special, as part of a limited time offer, but I think you're going to see the PS4 Pro price cut. They'd still succeed if they go to $299, but they're meaningfully lower than an Xbox One Scorpio. That's going to cause gamers to think about it if they don't have either. Pro tip, if I were a PlayStation 4 owner, I'd buy an Xbox One Scorpio. If I was an Xbox One owner, I would buy a PS4 Pro. I think you ought to have both systems. Don't upgrade. Have both. There's a lot of great exclusive content. But look for Sony to respond. If I'm wrong on prediction 1, and Microsoft prices the Xbox One Scorpio at $499 or higher, Sony doesn't have to do anything. It's going to be really hard for Microsoft to gain any traction on them with the Xbox One Scorpio. So I expect you will see retaliatory pricing. If Microsoft preemptively prices below $400, I think Sony will retaliate and cut the price by at least $100, probably $150, to really drive home the point. And remember, these guys have sold 55 million PlayStation 4s. They've got that component cost down where they can probably still make money at $200. and they're killing it on software and live services. So I frankly think Sony is willing to take a super thin margin on the PlayStation in order to get you guys to sign up for PlayStation Network, to sign up for PlayStation View, PS Now, buy tons of downloaded games, and they make a ton of money off of that. So again, it's a smart company. They have the luxury going second. They can see what Microsoft does, and I think if I'm right on prediction 1, I'll be pretty close to right on prediction 2. My third prediction is Nintendo's going to come up with something. There'll be a Nintendo first-party title that has not yet been announced. We already know about, Splatoon. We know Super Mario Odyssey is coming this year. I don't think it matters if they say November 23rd or December 10th. It just makes no difference at all. But what we don't know is if there's any other first-party titles coming, and other than the Xenoblades and things that have already been announced or already been released. I think you probably due for a Metroid announcement. I don't know that we're going to get it this year. I think it's appropriate to announce it at E3. If I had to make a bet, I'd say Metroid's coming next year, kind of mid-year, but I think they can announce it at E3. So my Nintendo prediction is we get a first-party title, a big popular one. Metroid's the one that seems like it's been the longest between installments. You could get something else, you could get a Kirby type announcement. You could get a Yoshi kind of announcement, but those aren't as big a games as Metroid. And I think, a Metroid on the Switch would be a really compelling experience. That studio's been quiet for quite a while. They're due. My last two predictions are both no prediction, nothing happening. I think you're going to be shocked that we'll get through E3 and there will not be any Western third-party titles announced for the Switch. I think you're going to discern a pattern here. I think that Switch titles from the West are going to be limited to only those games that already are being made for the Xbox 360 and the PS3. And with the discontinuation of the PS3, it really doesn't make sense to make PS3 games again after this year. So games like NBA 2K, sure, they're making it for old generation consoles. Games like Skylanders, sure, they're making it for old gen. FIFA, they're making it for old gen. They can resurrect old gen titles like Elder Scrolls Skyrim, of course. But I don't think you're going to get anything announced like Red Dead coming out on Switch. Too hard to do. I don't think it's going to happen. So I expect 0 third-party new titles announced at E3 for the Switch. So that's a prediction that nothing's going to happen. I'm usually good with the ones that aren't going to happen. My last prediction, and this is probably going to go well beyond E3. I think Rockstar is a little bit of a mess. And, they haven't gone to E3. We can speculate as to why. But since 2005, the guys who run the Rockstar studios haven't shown up at E3. They did have a PR person on stage back in 2014 to announce that Grand Theft Auto 5 was going to appear on the PS4. And it made it sound like it was an exclusive, but it turned out it was on multi-platform. But other than sending PR people, they don't show up. You may have noticed that they delayed Red Dead from a holiday launch into a spring 2018 launch. Spring meaning probably April or May, and that's fine. But count the years since the last Red Dead. The last one came out in May of 2010. So this game's going to be in development for 8 years. Go count the years on Max Payne, which was the last title they released before GTA. That was also 8 years. It went from 2004 to 2012. LA Noire was 7 or 8 years. That was the one the year before. Red Dead was in 2010. Remember Midnight Club? We've already been 8 years without a Midnight Club. So Rockstar has turned into a pretty singularly unproductive studio. I mean, they're productive in terms of updated content for GTA. They got GTA Online going, and they keep supporting that. But no new games since Grand Theft Auto. So GTA in 13, same game remastered in 14, nothing in 15, nothing in 16, nothing in 17, Red Dead in 18. I don't think you get an announcement of another Rockstar title this year. So I think you'll get an announcement for their game for the fall of 19 sometime next year. Nothing out of Rockstar. I would also be worried about the departure of Les Benzies, who was kind of the executive producer of pretty much every game they made. He was kind of the boots on the ground guy who ran the Rockstar North studio in Edinburgh. I think he is a supremely talented guy, as are the Housers. The Housers wrote the stories. They kind of get involved in every aspect of the game development. So they're like the directors, you know, they're the writers and directors. But Les is kind of like the cameraman and the guy who, you know, arranges all the lighting and makes sure all the movie turns out perfect. And he's gone. And he started a new studio with offices in Malibu, where he moved to, and Edinburgh. And reportedly, he has hired 35 people from Rockstar North. So since he was the guy who worked there and he knows who's good, my guess is he took some good people. I think that slows down the Rockstar effort. So I don't think you get anything from them until 2019. You'll get a Red Dead in 2018. No new games out of them until 2019. And I kind of wonder, you know, what happened to Midnight Club and LA Noire and Max Payne, because I think those are coming before we get another GTA. And what about Agent? You guys remember that from 2009? And what about new IPs? I'd say Rockstar has maybe 6 more titles before we get another GTA. And if they stick with this once a year, you got 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 taken care of. You might not get a GTA till 2024. So again, waiting for GTA is like waiting for the next installment in the Game of Thrones book series. They tend to be about 7-8 years in between. The last one came out in 2010, and that one as well. And the TV shows finally actually got ahead of the books. So, you know, no Rockstar at E3, meaning nothing announced on the Rockstar side. And I actually don't think you're going to get anything announced on the Take-Two side either. So we're stuck with WWE and NBA 2K, which are great games, but no new announcements. Prediction, Borderlands, a Holiday 17 title. 18 title, Holiday. Summer 18 title, my bad. Take-Two did say a major installment in the established 2K franchise. It's Borderlands. It's entirely possible that Gearbox will announce something at E3, but I don't think you get anything out of Rockstar. So that's it for E3 predictions. Looking forward to doing a post-E3 wrap. And thanks again for joining us on Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net for the very low price of $4 a month. You can get all your E3 content sifted for you. It'll be relevant. It's the only way you're going to get through an overwhelming amount of content. $4 a month. Join for a month, give it a shot, see if you like it. If not, then it only costs you $4. Less than a Big Mac and a Coke. Thanks very much.